Someone with half your talent is about to get the promotion you deserved. And the worst part, your boss already decided. Before the meeting. Before your review. Before you even knew there was a conversation happening. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly how that decision got made. Let me describe you for a second. You show up. You deliver. You hit every deadline. When the project is on fire at 9 p.m., you're the one putting it out. You don't gossip. You don't do the fake networking thing where you compliment your VP's golf game. Just do the work. Day after day, no spotlight, no noise. Just results. And somehow, that's exactly why you get overlooked. And you've been telling yourself one sentence for years, maybe without even realizing it. I know that sentence. I lived inside that sentence. It feels like integrity, like you're doing it the right way. It feels like you're the one who actually gets it, while everyone else is playing kindergarten politics. But here's the question nobody ever asks you. Not your manager, not your team, not even you. And once you hear it, you can't unsee it. What if the work is speaking and nobody's listening? Not because it's bad, not because it's wrong, but because it's invisible. What if you've been delivering a masterclass in a room full of people who don't even speak that language? You're doing it perfectly. They just don't register it. Because here's the data, and this one hit me hard. A study by the Corporate Executive Board found that 60% of employees acknowledge office politics influence their career. And politically aware individuals are 70% more likely to experience higher salary growth. 70%. Not because they worked harder, because they understood something you were never taught. Here's what actually runs your company. And I mean every company. Startup, Fortune 500, nonprofit, it doesn't matter. There are 2 org charts. The first one you've seen. It's on the intranet. Titles, reporting lines, KPIs. The second org chart is invisible. It doesn't exist in any slide deck. It's who your SVP actually listens to before a decision gets made. It's who gets looped into the Slack DM that doesn't have your name in it. It's who someone thinks of at 11 p.m. when a high-visibility project opens up. And here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. The meeting is theater. The decision already happened. Think about the last big call made at your company. A reorg, a promotion, a new initiative. Where did that decision actually get made? Not in the all-hands. Not in the formal review. It got made in the 5 minutes after a different meeting, when the 2 people who mattered stayed back and talked. Who was in that conversation? Not the hardest worker. The person with the most relational access. Harvard Business Review research confirms that political skill breaks down into 4 measurable dimensions: social awareness, interpersonal influence, networking ability, and what researchers call apparent sincerity. And as per Manpower Group, this skill affects career outcomes independently of your intelligence or personality. Read that again, independently of your intelligence. That means your IQ isn't the ceiling. Your political fluency is. If this is hitting different, like, share, and subscribe. Someone in your circle needs to hear this more than you do. Now I want to talk about that person. You know the one. They're in every meeting, but somehow never seem to be doing the actual work. They're always talking to the right people. They send these perfectly crafted emails that make a team effort sound like their solo idea. And somehow, they keep getting the stretch assignments and the visibility. You've probably called them a few things in your head that I can't say on this channel. But here's what I need you to hear, and this is the part that will actually change things for you. They're not cheating. They're fluent in a language you never learned. They understand instinctively what most high performers completely miss, that in every organization, output is only half the job. The other half is making that output legible to the people who decide your future. They're not skipping work. They're doing work you've been refusing to see as work. The guy who grabbed your idea in that meeting? He's not a villain. He's a translator. And right now, he's translating your work into a language leadership can hear. Your job isn't to get angry at him. Your job is to learn to translate. Now here's something nobody in this space is talking about. And if you're hybrid or remote right now, you need to pay extra attention. There's a bias baked into every organization. Researchers call it proximity bias. The closer you are physically to the people making decisions, the more opportunities you get. Not because you're better, because you're visible. And since 2020, millions of high performers moved remote, told themselves they were crushing it from their home office, and quietly got buried. McKinsey's latest Women in the Workplace report found that women who work remotely 3 or more days per week are less likely to have been promoted in the past 2 years than men in identical working arrangements. This isn't just a gender issue. It's a visibility issue. When you're remote, the informal conversations don't stop. They just happen without you. The hallway chat happens on Slack. The lunch invite goes to the people who said yes last time. You're not failing. You're just absent from the room where it happens. and absence is invisible. And invisible doesn't get promoted. Now here's the part I want you to really sit with, because this is where most people, smart people, good people, get it wrong. If you've been avoiding office politics, you've probably told yourself it's because you have integrity, that you're above the game, that you're different. But I want to ask a different question. What if I don't do politics is actually, I'm afraid of being seen and not chosen? What if the refusal to play isn't a moral stance? It's just a very sophisticated way of avoiding rejection. Because visibility requires risk. If you put yourself forward and leadership doesn't respond the way you hoped, that's a real loss. That stings. Staying invisible is safer. You can always tell yourself the system is broken, rather than sitting with the possibility that you might need to change something. As per Harvard Business Review, one former executive put it this way: I wore my refusal to engage in office politics as a badge of honor for more than 2 decades. She now teaches that you can't sit out office politics. Integrity and political intelligence are not opposites. You can be completely ethical and still be visible. You can refuse to manipulate and still build real relationships deliberately. You can have the highest values in the room and still understand who cares about what. The version of integrity that requires you to be invisible isn't a virtue. It's fear wearing a really good disguise. Okay, now let's get practical. And I'm going to give you one distinction that is worth more than any 5-step framework you'll find in a business book. Most people focus on getting a mentor, someone who gives advice, someone who believes in you, someone who meets with you once a month and tells you you're doing great. That's nice. That doesn't get you promoted. What gets you promoted is a sponsor. A mentor talks to you. A sponsor talks about you when you're not in the room. A sponsor is the person who, when that 5-minute conversation happens after the meeting, says your name. Specifically. Clearly. With conviction. McKinsey and Lean In research found that having someone in a more senior role put you forward as a candidate for promotion is one of the single biggest differentiators in who actually advances, and access to that sponsorship is wildly unequal across the workforce. The people getting promoted aren't just talented. They've made someone senior feel personally invested in their success. So here's what actually changes. You stop treating your career like a solo performance review, and you start treating it like a campaign. Not a manipulation campaign, but a communication campaign. 5 moves to take control. 1. Make your work audible, not just excellent. Stop sending reports nobody reads. Start sending one sentence that says what your work means. Finish the analysis. This will save the team about 6 hours a week. 2. Map your informal org chart. Ask yourself honestly, whose opinion shapes decisions before the meeting? Go have one real conversation with that person this week. 3. Find a sponsor, not just a mentor. Look for one senior person who has seen your work up close and respects it. Invest in that relationship specifically. Make it easy for them to talk about you by giving them specific things to point to. Move 4. Control your narrative before someone else does. Most people let their reputation form by accident. Someone who barely knows your work makes an offhand comment, and suddenly, that's who you are. The quiet one. The not quite ready yet. You didn't write that story, but you're living inside it. Fix it with one sentence, dropped casually every few weeks with someone who matters. I'm really trying to get sharper on the strategy side this quarter. That's it. Repeated consistently, it rewires how people categorize you. You don't need a big moment to change your narrative. You just need small, consistent signals. Move 5. Be useful before you need something. Most people only reach out when they want something. A favor. A reference. A push. Leadership reads that instantly, and it poisons every ask. Flip the timing. Once a month, give someone in your network something useful. A relevant article, a useful introduction, a heads up on something coming their way. When you eventually need something, and you will, you're not asking a stranger. You're reminding a friend. That's not politics. That's just how real relationships have always worked. The most dangerous place in any organization isn't at the bottom. It's in the middle. Technically excellent, organizationally invisible. Valuable enough to keep, not positioned enough to advance. It's a comfortable trap. It pays. It feels stable, and it will quietly take years from you without ever announcing itself as a problem. You won't get fired. You'll just get permanently bypassed. The game was always running. The only question was whether you were going to play it consciously or let someone else play it for you. Now you know, and knowing changes everything.